Hello and welcome to Confetti Chat. My name's James from James Douglas Films, though most people call me Doug, and this is Frankie from Pink Photographics. Nobody calls her Pink yet. Today we're going to be chatting about destination weddings, and we've both been lucky enough to go and work abroad to cover destination weddings. So the idea that you're going to go somewhere with better weather, probably better weather. I can't think of any other reason to go away from your family, your home base, other than to take advantage of nicer locations and have a fairly strong guarantee of good weather. So I was lucky enough to go to the south of France for a wedding. Where have you been?
I've been to Santorini.
Very nice.
That was beautiful. And Zante. Yes.
Very nice. I was booked for Barcelona. Got cancelled thanks to COVID.
Dominican Republic, cancelled. Thanks.
Thanks, COVID.
Thanks, COVID. Thanks.
Ace. So, as suppliers, obviously, it's quite exciting for us, I think, to get to go away and work somewhere else. It's quite nice. But it comes at a cost.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you've got possibly the cost of getting the suppliers out there on top of levying a fee, because realistically, you can't get them to the wedding and cover the wedding and home again in the same period of time. So they're going to have to. You're looking then at accommodation costs. So should couples think about it, and what do they need to think about?
I think you've got to realise, like you were saying, that it's not just a standard one day. That for a normal wedding, whatever normal is, that for a UK wedding, shall I say, that it's literally, you've got the lead up beforehand, possibly a run through at the venue before, and then on the wedding day, that's pretty much it. Whereas if it's a destination one, we then obviously have to travel over there, and it's an additional time that we're away from our normal diaries. So very often we could do a wedding Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whereas if you've got a destination wedding that's, say, on the Saturday, we then can't do anything else the few days before and after. So it's not just the one day, it is days surrounding it. It's also to do with flight times. How are we going to get there? My fear is always that if it's a Saturday wedding, do I fly out on the Friday? What if my flights then get delayed, cancelled? I need to know that I'm there on time, ready to go before the wedding day. It's not like you can just pop in your car and drive down the A1 to the venue. There is a lot more logistics involved.
I think the other thing that couples need to really think about then is obviously you've got key suppliers that need to go.
Yeah.
So if you've got a photographer that you've booked there, you've got to get them there. You've hairdresser possibly, if you've got someone specific in mind that you wanted to use, makeup artist. You've got a bunch of suppliers, but then you've also got your guests to worry about. Like, what is a reasonable thing to ask your guests to do? Okay, then yes, come to Spain do the couples pay for everybody to travel? Do the couples pay for everyone's accommodation? Where do you think the costs start and stop?
I think if I was a guest at the wedding, I would just assume that I was going over there and I'm going on a holiday for a week or 2 weeks, however much, no, me, it'll be 2 weeks. And I would just so happen to be there at their wedding for one day. But I'd probably have like the ideas of having like the hen do. I know I've been a guest at a wedding a few years back, Dominican Republic. We all paid for ourselves. We flew out there because we were paying, that was our holiday that year. Yeah. It was just that we were coordinating it all with the wedding party. We were all going at the same time, the same hotel. And it was just like a big holiday for everybody. And then we could have a day for the wedding.
Do you think it's a good filter to get your guest numbers down?
Yes. Yeah. I think that if there was a whole family politics thing and it was like, oh, you have to invite so-and-so, but you haven't spoken to him in about 12 years, I don't know them, other half never met them, and all that sort of jazz that goes on with it, Yeah, destination weddings are an easy way.
Just to just get those numbers down, filter that out.
Exactly. And if you've said, oh, don't want kids at the wedding, but we're not going unless we can bring the kids. Da, da, da. Okay, destination wedding. that will soon.
Yeah.
But we can't afford to take, all 6 of us. Sorry.
You're going to get your numbers down. I think that's quite useful. I think it's a useful strategy.
Yeah.
We do have very changeable weather in the UK.
Yes.
And if you want to guarantee great weather, if that is the most important thing to you, you've got to get yourself abroad.
Yes. And sometimes the costs aren't as much as what you think they're going to be. If you take 30 people away with you, it could, I don't know, I'm just picking a number, say £5,000. It's obviously, I have no idea. Say £5,000 for your wedding, everything involved. That's a nice number, so you know how much it's going to cost. Whereas in the UK, if you were going to do that, some venues don't allow to have, they cater for bigger places. And you then think, oh, well, while I'm here, I'll add this on, I'll add this on, I'll add this on. Whereas it does pare it back, and it's like, right, a lot of hotels abroad have wedding packages that are actually really reasonably priced. And you don't have to have a big wedding if you don't want to have a big wedding. So I think a lot of people are like, oh no, it's going to cost me like far too much. It's actually a nice way of having the wedding of your dreams, but keeping costs down.
Do the couples, do you know, that have worked abroad, do the legality bit of the wedding, do they go and have a humanist celebrant style wedding abroad and do the legal bit in the UK before they go?
It depends on the country. I know Ibiza, you can't get married over there legally, so you have to have the legal registrar bit done here before or after, and then you can have a ceremony. But sometimes I think couples don't let their guests know that it's not a legal wedding.
Yeah.
I know that one of my weddings, my destination weddings, that theirs wasn't a legal wedding out there because they had to change it so many times, and all the paperwork had to, because you got to think about your paperwork has to be in whatever language for the country as well as English, so you have to have it all changed and transcribed each time, and obviously it then adds on extra costs to having to do that again. And so theirs wasn't a legal ceremony on the beach, whereas their guests all think that it is.
Yes.
And that's what they class as their wedding.
Yes.
That was their true wedding because they just did a legal ceremony, just them two and a couple of witnesses, and they don't class that as their wedding day.
No. Which bit are you going to remember?
Exactly. Yeah. It was literally going to the registry office, signing a form, done, going for a meal with their friends, that was it, compared to on a beach with friends and family, the full wedding day, prep, up to party, everything. Yeah.
Or with the photos and possibly the video they're going to be what informs your memories.
Yes.
So they'll be the bits that you remember. I don't think it would count as any less of a wedding in any meaningful way to do that. But I can see a lot of sense in going, oh, let's just get the legal bit done and dusted, and then go and have, and it gives you loads more freedom.
Yeah.
I imagine, to just basically pick your backdrop, pick the space.
Yeah.
And assuming you've got the logistics of it sorted out, chairs and all of the boring stuff that the hotels should be able to provide you with, I imagine that would make a lot of sense.
And it'd be quite a nice way of involving a friend or a family member as well, because if you wanted to, they could do the ceremony as a celebrant role or anything like that. They could then lead the ceremony. That would be... And that's another nice way of tying people in, giving someone else another role at a wedding that wouldn't necessarily have a job.
Pick the right person.
Yes. Not a Joey Tribbiani.
Yeah, brilliant. So, in conclusion then, if we're talking about destination weddings, then there's lots to think about. You've got, obviously it's attractive to go to the nice
I'll always say yes. I'll always say yes.
The nice weather is very attractive, but it comes with some thought. You've got to think about who are you taking, how much of their costs are you covering, are you discussing that with your suppliers that you want to be there, and it does work as a really good filter.
Yeah.